Good morning, welcome to my channel. This morning I want to do something. What I have here is a potentiometer. What I have is a TV, it's a small TV where the sound is not good. Then I bought amplifier set. Let me just show you this type of thing. It is a Astrum small amplifier with a bass speaker with two small speakers. And there is the input from the speakers, and the wire that comes from here is the 5-volt USB powder that's got a transformer inside, and the input. But the input is a RCA is a 3.5mm jack that you normally put in the back of your computer. But I want to use this to amplify the sound of the TV. The only way to do it is an old kind of flat screen TV. There's only RCA outputs in the back. So I cut the wire from the 3.5mm jack, and I connect it to RCA inputs so that I can get the input, the source from the TV. But I have another problem now. I want to on DSTV in South Africa, on a DSTV controller, there is a setting. If you want to watch Netflix, the sound is not good, so you have to go in the setting. But then after the sound is correct, there's a different setting on the sound settings. Then you can't control the volume through your DSTV decoder. So the only way to do is to control the volume of the amplifier. But the amplifier is a bass speaker, and the volume is there in the back under the table. So I want to put it in a different little box in front of me that I can just put the volume. So I control the input from the TV as where the source is, to the input that goes to that amplifier speakers. But the only way to do it is with a potentiometer, and then you put the source on both sides, and where it's going to the amplifier between the ground and the inside, so that you won't short out your source. But the problem is, this is a single pot. I don't have a double pot for stereo. The stereo amplifiers, stereo radios, or car radios all have this stacked stereo or two pots together. The only way to do it is now to mod this thing, to put one. Maybe I want to do a modification. I'm going to open here. We're going to just see what we can do. Drill a hole in here, put a small screw with a thread that can at least glue in there. Then I'm going to drill another hole in here, put it in there, stag it, and glue it. If you turn the one, you turn the other one also. This thing is just a little bit sticky. I'm just going to clean here. I think there's a type of grease in here. I'm going to clean it and put some oil in there to make it better. So the next job is here let's open a potentiometer. You see all these two clips. Just put the clips on side. And now you're gonna just put some light on here. Now we're gonna take this apart. See, this is how it works. See, this cavity or this casing keeps the thing from going out. So keep this under tension. This is a wiper. They call this thing a wiper. So it keeps it intact, and then it slides inside of this thing. So what I'm gonna do, I wanna take that little pin out there. And then I'm gonna cut it, put a piece of thread in there, through there, and then to the other side. That's the only way to do it. So this is how the potentiometer works. There is the carbon, there's your 10, this is 1K value, there's 1K resistance there. There's your center tap, and the center tap goes to there, and it always makes contact in the inner ring, and then it selects on the outside ring the volume. This is all the normal volume controls work anyway, just for interest sake. Okay, now I'm gonna start modify this thing, and this is the end stop. It stopped it from the inside. There's a little nick inside there where it stops from going around. So the first thing is I need to cut this thing. I'm gonna let's cut this thing off there. And now the next step is, now you have to go and drill a hole inside there, in the middle, as secure as possible in the middle, just for us to get a little pin in there or something. Now we take your drill, now we're gonna drill this thing in there. To make sure it's nice in the middle there. There's a pilot hole. Don't have to make it so deep. Okay, now we're gonna take this drill out. We put a bigger drill in. We're gonna just put a bigger one in. Start with a 1 mil, and then just like a 2 mil. But now my drill is missing. Okay, here it is. Now we're gonna drill a big hole here. I want to get a bigger one. Now the bigger size is a 3 mil. I just have to fasten this thing properly here. That ones don't need to be too deep. You don't want to. You just need a nice place where it can grip. Okay, now I'm just gonna hold, get this pliers just to help me hold this shaft here. And this drill just a little bit bigger. The last part. This is a 3 mil. So I think, so this is a 3 mil screw. And now I'm going to put it in there, make sure it goes in there. Now we're going to put super glue in there, and it's going to go in there. Now I'm going to cut it here. Cut this off. And then push this in there. But also then I must make sure that this hole here must be the same size as the screw to you just drill this thing here. And then it goes through here. I'm just gonna keep it from going around. So what now? I just need to cut this thing. I'm gonna cut this shaft over here and make sure It's nice and straight. I'm quickly going to take it to the workbench and just make a nice cut there. Okay, now you can see here's the next cut. Let's put this lights here that we can see better. I'm going to make the same thing, and now you must drill in the middle here, exactly in the middle, a pilot hole. Okay, now I'm going to put a bigger drill in there. Don't go too big, just go rather with small steps. Then you know you're going to have a secure middle line there. Okay, now I'm going to put the stream hole in again. Okay, now I've got the stream hole. I'm going to drill this in there. Okay, see now this thing must go in here as well. Okay, and as I say, let's just clean this place here a little bit, yeah. And I'm just gonna quickly cut this thing off there, the screw, to make it take the head off. Okay, now I'm gonna, as I said, there's a little grease there. I'm just gonna take this off here and clean this grease. It makes it sticky. I just want this more. I'll put some oil in there rather, and this whole thing will work better. How's this already? Really way better. Okay, now I want to put this thing back. So let's first glue this part in here. Make sure it's stuck there forever. Now I'm going to take some super glue. There's a super glue. Just make sure this there. This hole is always plugged. Always an issue. Always blocked. Okay, let's just make sure there's glue there. Okay, now we're gonna put some super glue in there. Now we're gonna push it in here. You can always put some a little bit there, and then just take the excess off with a piece of cloth, otherwise it's gonna lock, causes problems. We need to go. Okay, now we want to put this back. Now we're going to put this in the middle position and put this little device back. There's a stop. See, there's it. Now let's make sure it goes. I think let's just go back between there as I so I must just assemble this thing, and there's it. There's a minimum, the maximum. Okay, now we're going to close this clips here. Okay, now we have this. So we'll do the thing. Okay, now the plan is to put this one now in there. And if you turn one, you turn the other one. Now I'm going to just go and glue this there, and then we have to put something here just to keep it with glue gun or inside the casing to keep it secure. But the first step is what I need to do is I'm going to just desolder this so that I can open this and take the grease out. All the piece of plastics, yeah. If you solder, always make sure there's enough solder on a pan to transfer the heat, otherwise you're gonna battle to get this off. Okay, this is in this. Okay, let's put this aside. Now I'm going to open this thing quickly, yeah. We can actually go and take this off. It's not needed anymore. You can open this and we take this out here. There's a piece of an issue with this. Let's take all these things. Otherwise this thing doesn't want to go out. Come on. Somehow the plastic make a reach here. Okay, now we're going to take this piece of paper and just take all those nasty grease out there. You don't want this grease because it's too sticky. I'm going to put some. Okay, just put it back. Okay, now we're going to put this in the middle position. Okay, that's it. And then we put this clips back. Get some oil quickly. Always take a thin oil, like 3-in-1 oil. Then you just put a drop there. Make sure that is easy. I'm gonna hold this one also a little bit. Okay, now for this last little bit, now we're gonna glue this thing in there. So that if you turn one, both of them are turning. But I don't know why is this thing it's a little bit crooked. It's as if that thing is a little bit in, it's not in properly. Okay, now it's important. Now when you line it up, make sure this thing is anti-clockwise. This one is anti-clockwise. Then we're going to put some super glue. It's on here. And then we'll just line it up. Makes anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. Line it up precisely. And there it goes. So if you turn, it's going to turn both of them. If you turn, you just need some that super glue to get stuck in there. Sometimes it needs a little anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. I'm going to take some of this salt here. Get this salt and then we're going to put it on there. To make sure it's stuck there. Somehow the inside there, it was easier. Over here it's not so easy. See, there it goes. No, it's not. Somehow it doesn't want to. Let's put some salt in there. Let me push this thing in here. Make sure this is anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. And put some more super glue in there. It's a bit stubborn this morning. Put some more glue in there. There it goes. Here's both of them. So you turn one, other one also turn. It's a bit wiggly. That's why important to make the shaft perfectly in the model. So now you can go and you can let me just close this. Before the super glue gets dry. Now we can go and mount them inside the small container. You fasten this here and you put some hot glue, and then you have a perfect pot for both of them. Or you can put a small pipe over here that guides it over here, so that you can fasten it here. And that one is a little bit loose, just to make up for the movement inside there. It will work perfectly. So now I'm going to do the electronics. Now you have two pots that you can control it, stereo input to the amplifier. Okay, this is, hope you enjoy this. This is how you sometimes you just make your mind a little bit, think in a modification way, just to make things work. How you can ask yourself, how am I going to make these things work? Make a plan. In Afrikaans they say, boer maak 'n plan. It makes the farmer always makes a plan. So if you can't, you improvise. Then it's the best way to make things work. Okay, if you can't buy one, you make one. I'm just gonna try to get some sort of plastic or something we're gonna put over here. Then we finish. Okay, what I did, I found a piece of front piece of an old vacuum cleaner's front side. You just cut it here, and now this whole thing slides in here. You see here now, this thing can move inside here, but it can't go around. But it allows it for that little wiggle. Look at that one, goes a little bit. If if your line was not perfectly straight. Now that thing can go up and down as it likes. Then you just put it inside. You put it in front of your panel. I'm going to put it in a box, and then that one goes just go like this. As easy as that. So that's the way to get over that. And now we're going to just put it in the front of the box, and then we almost finish. Okay, here's the box. I'm going to put this inside here through the panel, and then put this by the PC. Then I can just put the volume, change the volume here. The box is like a nice and heavy. So now I just need to determine the where I'm going to put the inside here. You can always take a Tipex marker, and then you go and you mark it in the inside there, more or less where the thing must be. Then you take your vernier, and then you measure that side there, fasten, then you go outside, and then you can draw your lid just there in the model. Now we're going to measure the size of the shaft here. It's like a 10 millimeter. We're going to get a 10 millimeter draw, and then we just going to, okay, now we're going to take this. Always take your Stanley knife, clean all the deburr them a little bit. Let's take this out. Now that is an index point that you don't put it through the panel so the whole pot doesn't go around. So I just have to find the way there. It's gonna stuck in one of those things there. Let's just rim this thing a little bit more. If it's going to bother you, just go and bend it over. And that's just now the problem is this thing is a little bit too thick. I have to somehow I think I'm just gonna glue this whole thing in here with hot glue. Then there's no issues. Glue this whole thing in there. Then it won't come out. See, there's another burr in there that I need to recess, otherwise I can't grip this with this. Maybe I must just go and I'll go and open this thing in the bottom a little bit more. Okay, I managed to get this thing to grip there. Just put it in there. Okay, that one is in. Now that is the next step, just to put some glue there. If I glue it here, it's not gonna actually put a screw in here and keep it from and that's the best way to do it. You just make a nick here in the bottom here. Many ways to kill a cat, as they say. Now we're gonna take this thing and we're gonna mark it here. And I'm just gonna, where's my pen? I'm just gonna drill a hole there. Put a countersink in there so the thing doesn't move in the back. And now you take make a hole there. Put a counter screw in there. Let's actually put the nut in the bottom there. Kind of a long nose. Hold it there. Just fasten this thing. Actually use the Allen key. Okay. See now this thing is kind of loose. Now it's gonna happen. Look here. Now everything is moving. This whole thing can't go out. There is my pot. I'm just do the wires here, and then I'm put a hole in there for the wires to go through. And just put the volume control on here. Let's go find a nice knob to put there. Okay, just cut the shaft a little bit shorter. Minimum. Let's get a screwdriver here. That's it. Now it's nice to put the volume of your speakers. Now I'll just do the wiring and then I'm finished. Okay, here's the final wiring. So I made a hole in the back here. Cable tie doesn't go pull out. Where it comes from, the source is on the ground on the outside of the potentiometer, that you don't short out your input of your your source, and then you'll pick up your input to the amplifier as your ground, and then the middle, the wiper. So if you go maximum clockwise, it will go maximum on the input, and then you just control the volume like this. You just put up your lid, and then there's your volume control for your amplifier. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just to make you think, if you need to modify and make a plan with something, there's always a way around it. When I get to the shop one day, I will maybe buy a proper 10K or 1K. This is a 1K potentiometer. 10K is maybe better, but to put so much load on the output, but it's fine. For now it will work. I hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, cheers.